She touched her nose and realized the blood was coming from there. She rushed to the restroom and the blood just kept dripping. Jenny was young, beautiful, and full of life. She had just graduated from the university, top of her class, first class honors in industrial chemistry. Everyone celebrated her. Her lecturers were proud. Her family praised her. Her friends even started calling her the future CEO. In her heart, Jenny believed that life was finally about to begin. She had worked hard, kept her head down, avoided distractions. Now it was her time to shine. But life had other plans. After her graduation, things didn't turn out the way she expected. For weeks, she went from one company to the other, submitting CVs, writing cover letters, dressing up in her best formal clothes, attending interviews that ended with the same line: "We'll get back to you." But no one ever did. Each day was the same routine: wake up early, print CVs, wait for hours, sometimes not even seen by anyone. And then she would return home with nothing but sweat, disappointment, and a sore heart. She lived in a small one room apartment. It wasn't much, just a small bed by the corner, one table, a wooden wardrobe, and a cracked mirror. But there was one thing that mattered the most to her in that room. It was her diary. Every night, no matter how tired she was, she would sit on her bed, take her pen, open the brown leather bound book, and write down everything she had faced that day. Today I went to two companies. I waited under the hot sun. One receptionist told me to come back next month. I wanted to scream. I feel like giving up. As she wrote, tears would always fall from her eyes, dropping on the page like raindrops on dry paper. Sometimes she cried so much she would fall asleep with the diary still open in her lap, her head resting on it like a pillow of pain. She didn't tell anyone how bad it was. Her friends thought she was taking time to find the right job. Her parents still believed things were going well. Jenny was good at hiding things. Then one night, while lying on her bed and scrolling her phone, she saw a job opening. Something inside her said, "Try one more time, just once. If this one doesn't work, I will stop applying." With shaky fingers and a fast beating heart, she sat up, pulled her laptop close, and applied. Then 1 week later, she got a call. "Congratulations, Jenny. You've been shortlisted for an interview." She could hardly believe it. Her hands shook. For the first time in months, she smiled without faking it. The interview came, and she gave it her best. 2 days later, she received the offer. The pay wasn't what she had hoped for. It wasn't enough to save much after paying bills, but it was something. She could at least handle her needs without depending on anyone. She was grateful. Then, 2 weeks into her new job, Jenny was seated at her desk, typing, when she noticed something strange: drops of blood on her table. She paused, confused. She touched her nose and realized the blood was coming from there. She rushed to the restroom, locked the door, and stared at herself in the mirror. Her eyes were red, her face pale, and the blood just kept dripping. "Why is this happening to me?" she whispered. She wiped it off quickly, cleaned her face, fixed her makeup, and returned to her desk like nothing happened. A few days later, it happened again and again, more frequently. Jenny became so worried. She visited the hospital, and after several tests, the doctor looked at her with quiet sadness, held the brown folder. "Jenny," he said gently, "you have a brain tumor. That's what's causing the nosebleeds. You will need surgery. It's risky, but it's the only way." For a moment, everything went silent: the air, the clock, her heartbeat. When she got home that evening, she dropped her bag, sat on her bed, reached for the only thing that ever understood her pain. her diary. She opened the fresh page. Her tears fell before the pen could. I don't have money for surgery. How can life be this cruel? I've suffered enough. Maybe this is where it all ends. She cried for hours, but the next morning she wore her brightest dress, tied her hair neatly, and went to work. She told no one, not her family, not her manager, not even her best friends. Every day, she put on a smile like makeup and pretended everything was fine. And when the nosebleeds came, she ran to the restroom, fixed herself, and returned like nothing happened. She began saving the little she could from her small salary, cut food costs, stopped buying new clothes, walked home instead of taking buses. She was determined to fight this alone. Weeks passed until one morning at work, everything changed. Jenny was working on a report when a colleague, Anita, walked up to her desk with a complaint. It started as a small misunderstanding, a wrong file, a deadline missed, words were exchanged, tension rose. Jenny, already weak and tired, stood up to defend herself. In a flash of anger, Anita pushed her. Not so hard, but just enough. Jenny fell. Everyone screamed. People rushed to her side. She wasn't moving. She was rushed to the hospital. But unfortunately, Jenny was gone. The entire office was in shock. No one could understand how a simple argument turned into death. Anita was arrested and later charged with murder. The news made headlines. Office fight ends in tragedy. At the court hearing, Anita sat pale and trembling. Her family wept. Jenny's family cried too, broken beyond repair. Anita was sentenced to life imprisonment. But that wasn't the end of the story. 2 months later, Jenny's younger sister came to pack her belongings. Her heart was heavy as she stepped into her late sister's quiet, cold room. Then she saw the diary. Curious, she picked it up. She began to read. And with every page, every word, her eyes widened, her hands shook. The truth poured out like fire on dry paper. Jenny had been sick all along. She was bleeding, dying slowly, fighting a battle no one saw. She never told anyone. She hid everything in this one book. The sister cried uncontrollably, clutching the diary to her chest. She took it to the authorities. The case was reopened. After reviewing the medical reports and diary entries, the courts reduced Anita's sentence to 3 years from the life imprisonment because the truth was now clear. Jenny didn't die because of the push. Jenny died because of the pain she carried alone.